Okay guys, bit of an update. We've been working on the Loom for the 31. Did a lot of that work last night, so we've got our new injector plugs and stuff on there. Unfortunately, while I was out today, I was supposed to buy some more wire to run the extra power and earth leads we need, but I forgot because it was very busy, so just going to leave that for now, and I'll try and get some wire tomorrow and we'll complete that later.
This week I got new parts for his 31 to fix what we bent the other weekend. This is actually all out of my old 31, which is nice. So the bloke I sold my 31 to is pulling my motor and gearbox out of it to put in an EH Holden. And so I knew he had the shell sitting there, so I got onto him and he was pretty happy to help us out and get this off that for him. Get this off that for us. So it's kind of cool that my 31 lives on through Rex's a bit now, and it's all gone to a pretty good home. That's some new coilovers for the rear because Rex is knocked like no one's business. So they will go in, and after that, Rex's will be pretty much sorted. The plan is to get onto Shane again, he tuned my 31, and just try and get the maps that were literally the maps that were in my ECU, and just basically load them onto that ECU and go, because it's going to be same turbo, a little bit bigger injectors, but it should be quite easy to touch up the tune from there if we can just get my maps onto that ECU basically. So after that, Rex's 31 should be making the same, if not more power than mine was, and happy days, he's got his drift car sorted. So
at the moment we've got a lot going on. We've got Max is hard at work on his Crusader build. As you can see, the V80's there. We've got the gearbox out of it. We've got over here the new bits to fix up my 31, and I'm here working on the Loom. I did start it earlier this week, but I ended up having to go to work, so we lost a few days, so we're a little bit behind where we wanted to be. But I've finished up sort of the extra wiring I wanted in this, so we've got our coil wiring now for the front. That goes to the ignition module, which is on the distributor, and as we discussed before, that's your crank angle sensor that goes to the distributor as well. As I discussed, I've merged these twin wires into a single, just because I like that a lot better. So that's our wiring, positive and earth. That's going to go directly to the battery out of the Loom at the back of the motor here, and this is the wiring for the new coil. So that's also split off that power cable there. That's battery to the positive side of the coil. That's the black wire that goes to the negative side of the coil. That's the one that comes up here to the ignition module, and that'll separate. We've got the Loom sort of sorted. That's where it plugs into the ECU, and that's it. That's it, just in its raw form, and we'll tidy it up with some Spiro wrap. These are the new injectors, thanks to Max, some 750 cc's, and that's actually the fuel rail of his old motor as well. So we'll chuck that on there, just to give it a little bit more bling bling. And that's it. We'll be ready to start putting this in the car fairly soon. There you have it, folks. One Loom almost ready to go. As we talked about, just waiting on those few plugs to arrive, and we'll get the plugs back on it and it'll be good to go. So we've got our battery leads there, coiled up, ready to go. New coil location ready to go. And then that bad boy's just got to go through the penetration in the guard, and we'll see where we can mount the ECU. I'm really hoping that's long enough, but yeah, that's it. So as you can see, it's not super difficult, and it's a little bit daunting at first, but it's really not all that hard. You just need to take the time and do it properly. Right guys, back again. We're going to have a bit of a play around this afternoon, see if we can get this skyline straightened back up again. If you haven't seen that video on how it actually ended up bent, I'd recommend it if you want to watch some absolute trash. There she is, mate, in all of its bent, broken glory. Let's play a game of Will It Start? I'm gonna have to buy some decent terminals for this battery. Woo! Alright. Alright. Well, they're all knocking and banging from back there from those completely wrecked coilovers. So during the crash, we still don't know why. I have a suspicion this radiator, we did have a leak in it once before that went away with some stop leak. I have a feeling this radiator was already cracked, and the actual impact has just sort of shocked that crack into opening, because nothing actually hit the radiator itself, but it opened up a crack in it and dumped all the fluid. So the first thing we're going to do is replace it. This is a second-hand radiator I got for a good price off a bloke on the Gold Coast. Went down and grabbed that on the weekend. So the first step to getting this thing out, I find it's easiest just to bring the whole fan with the shroud, because obviously there's not a lot of room at the front of the motor there, and that is where best friend ratchet spanners come in super handy. Get that bad boy in there. You can just crack each one of those nuts. So that's the fan. Nuts all undone, removed. That hub just sits in there like that. The fan just pulls off the front. You can just sit that in the shroud. I didn't bother to loosen the belts. It doesn't really affect it too much. It just sort of cocks the pulley one way a little bit with the tension, but it doesn't come off or anything. So I find it's just easy to leave that alone. I took the opportunity before to take these bolts out, so this thing is literally ready to just come straight out. See, that's it there. It seems in the impact was harsh enough that the fan blade has actually hit the bottom, and that's actually, you can see it's just completely pulled those tubes out, separated them from the tank. So she's cactus. Right, shroud mounted, new radiator. As you can see, we've used industry standard drift car spec fasteners, and that radiator is ready to go back in now. Don't forget, we'll put our fan in there, get it back in the car. Now this is the hard part. Trying to get them back onto those studs is a massive pain in the arse. Righto! Radiators hooked back up, overflows back on, top and bottom hoses, fans back on and tight, everything's all good. Bloody green shit all over the floor, looks like Predator's been here bleeding and shit. Come on! I'm right here! Come get me! Alright, got the radiator full, but it's still taking a little bit, there's still some air bubbles in there because obviously the motor was completely dry. So we're just going to start it up, get the motor full of water with the water pump just pumping that good stuff around, and we'll top it right up. Oh, of course, you're going to do this again. Righto, so we brought that up to temp so that the thermostat opens. We've got it sort of warm now, so it's full of water, there's no leaks, so that's all fixed. Okie dokie, so where we're up to, got our new lip and Rio. Start with the headlights. This is our new one, Series 3 headlight, came out of Maxie's 31. Boom pow! Both lights back. I was actually a bit concerned. This one didn't come up straight away. I thought it might have been broken, but it has actually come back on, so it's not as bright as the other one, but it'll be right. But as you can see, they are plenty bright. They're awesome on the track. So that's the headlight back in. We're back in business, looking more like an actual car now. So I thought about not pulling the headlight out just because it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but you know, given that it's a brand new headlight and stuff, I don't want to risk trying to straighten this out with the headlight in there, risk damaging it. With the headlight out, I can actually see what I didn't spot before, which is the actual shape of it from here is fine. But what you can see is if you look at this side, this side's nice and straight and vertical. Let's come over here. Whoops, where'd it go? Yeah, it's actually bent under that way, which is what's pushed this sort of top of that panel back. So we'll get into that with some tools and see if we can straighten that out and just bend this panel back out to where it needs to be. Just need to watch the shape on this. So you probably can't see from where the camera is, but that's sort of twisted that whole panel up nicely so that it's actually the right shape now. Keep pulling that out a bit more. The trick with this stuff is to try and just go a little bit at a time. Don't try and take too big of a bite all at once. So it's not the straightest car in the world anymore, but anyway. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, right? Oh yeah, that's looking much better already. Just looking across those lights. Alright, had a bit more of a muck around with that side, got it right. So you can see now, this is the good side. Looks a bit funny with the beige colour, but now we've got this side almost exactly the same. For an old 31 drift car, it's good enough for me. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I've got the clip back on, and I was actually going to film it, but I'm not going to bother. It's too much of a pain in the ass. Clips on is the main thing. And I sat the lip on there and was just looking at putting the grill back in, and you may notice, this is the old one, the TI grill actually mounts differently, so it won't fit. It's going to be a pretty simple solution. I'll just modify this one here to suit, and the grill will fit back in, and then all it needs is just that lip coated and it'll be straight once again. So all I've done here is just nick the sides of it, just put a little bit of a cut there with the air hacksaw just so that it makes it a little bit easier to bend. It's still not great because of the ribs in the back of it, but it's good enough for what we want to do. We're not too worried about it. That'll pretty much do the job, I reckon. What do you reckon, hey? How's that? So that's with it bolted in. How's that for alignment? I'm pretty happy with that headlight. Couldn't get that much better than that. Grill's in there nice, front clip. As soon as that lip is painted white, no one would ever know. So if you could all stop yelling at me about bending a perfectly good TI front end, I'd really appreciate it. See, it's basically fixed. It's all good. Shit happens. Car stuff. Yeah. What was that? Ah, well there you go. Thanks a lot, Max and Brendan. For fuck's sake. Try to work on your car. You idiots throwing beer cans everywhere. Idiots! I'm surrounded by idiots!